So Nate, you talked a little bit in your opening comments about this, but can you talk a little bit more about how social social isolation or interruption in education will affect LGBTQ kids who we know are already very, very much at risk, as you pointed out?
Yeah, just jumping on my previous comments, they're experiencing this lack of affirmation. And just yesterday, so we practiced for this panel, we did a little rehearsal, and immediately after it happened, actually for us as an organization, we've been doing these virtual GSA meetings, so trying to create virtual spaces for LGBTQ students. And we actually had someone get into the Zoom and posted pro-Nazi things and anti-LGBTQ things. And so what we've been struggling with is creating, like, how do we meet this challenge with the isolation they're facing? And honestly, over these past 6 weeks, we've seen an uptick in kind of this anti-LGBTQ harassment we've experienced as an organization, our staff, and on all of our virtual platforms. And from TikTok, which I thought was a fun thing for all the kids to use, to everything else. And it's been really tough to kind of try to meet that challenge, because we know that isolation and the lack of that education, the lack of supportive educators, the lack of that one supportive adult in the kid's life is dangerous, to say the least. And now on top of that, you have this white nationalist troll kind of thing that's happening online. And so it's not so simple as let's plug in a Zoom and have a conversation anymore. It's how do we create a safe space virtually too, is a challenge we're facing. And so it's been wild, to say the least, to see all that uptick, and it's scary. And for our students with that isolation, again, they're at home and maybe their parents aren't supportive. Maybe their parents are trying to do conversion therapy to their own kids who are LGBTQ. That educator, that supportive adult in their life can be there and be that lifeline for them, and be that escape for them. And they don't have that. And then when they try to access something virtually, they're running into this kind of white nationalist just angst and just evil that's out there. And how do we respond and create those safe spaces as organizations, as schools? I'm sure we'll be struggling with this too. And as just a community, how do we respond to that? And so it's been an ongoing challenge for us, but also our kids. Like I'm very worried, like I said earlier, about this and the suicide risk for LGBTQ kids who are impacted at any age with this pandemic.